With Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild, Mass Effect Andromeda, Persona 5, Yooka-Laylee, Super Mario Odyssey, and a whole bunch of other big games out this year, there really is a lot going on in games at the minute. With that in mind, there are almost certainly a few that have slipped under your radar where they firmly don't deserve to be. Well, don't worry, whether you're looking for the next indie sensation or you're just keeping an ear to the ground, we've got you covered. Without any further ado, we humbly submit 7 games you didn't know you wanted. In case the name didn't tip you off, Brawl Out is a fighting game, one that will feel very familiar to anyone who's even been remotely near Super Smash Bros. Brawl Out revolves around the same arena-based combat with damage percentage counters and powerful smashy moves aplenty. It's got a nice art style, but really it's the characters that make Brawl Out what it is. You can finally live out your dreams of becoming a fighting walrus with the power to manipulate ice, for instance, or you can play as Paco, a character who is simultaneously a luchador wrestler and a chameleon type thing with a couple of limbs going spare. Brawl Out is familiar, it's colourful, it's frenetic, and it's clearly aiming to foster a decent competitive community as swiftly as possible. It's not quite Super Smash Bros, but it goes a long way to scratching the same itch. No exact release date yet, mind you, but Brawl Out is slated for release in early 2017. Next up is the unbelievably cute Ooblets. Kind of a cross between Pokemon, Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, Ooblets has charm in spades. As you play, you gather little creatures called Ooblets who follow you around the place. Like this one. This is Shrumbo, a mushroom wearing sunglasses. Naturally. Making use of a very familiar turn-based combat system, you can use your Ooblets to battle other ones. Each Oobleck you defeat will drop a seed, which you can plant and cultivate to acquire yet more Ooblets, who will follow you around and battle more Ooblets. And when you aren't battling, you'll be planting, tending and harvesting crops, extending your farm, even opening a little shop to sell your produce, if you like. You can level up your Ooblets, acquire different wearables, and it's all wrapped up in an impossibly cute style with some nice writing. Now, you might be thinking it's all a bit twee, but put that cynicism aside. I played Ooblets at EGX Res this year and genuinely had a blast. It's an unashamedly feel-good game and it's well worth your attention, although unfortunately you've got a bit of a weight on your hands first. Ooblets will be out on Xbox One and Windows 10 in 2018. From the saccharine to the sinister now with Nongunz. Forgive the slightly off-the-wall footage, by the way, this is the teaser trailer. Anyway, it's not often you earn points in a game just for firing your weapon, but Nongunz is more than happy to give them to you. You take these points, which you also earn from progressing through the procedurally generated environment, and from cultists who work for you, and then use those points to purchase new weapons and, new skulls, each of which gives you a different ability. With a striking, kind of dark retro style and some pretty nails gameplay, Nongunz is not a roguelike for the faint of heart. Like all good roguelikes, you can expect to spend a lot of time at the beginning of Nongunz, dying repeatedly and without much warning. However, also like all good roguelikes, a lot of Nongunz goes unexplained, so, as you get more familiar with the gameplay and items, you'll soon find it opening up like a compelling mystery. No release date yet for Nongunz, but watch this space. While we're talking about procedurally generated games, in fact, Phantom Halls also pitches you into a dark and mysterious building, forcing you to rely on your wits and your trigger finger in order to survive. Where Nongunz is wholly frenetic, however, Phantom Halls is a strangely serene experience. Well, as serene as it's possible to get, while also fighting off undead horrors and avoiding deadly traps, that is. In Phantom Halls, you pick a character, each with its own particular objective, and then start to explore. With a limited amount of inventory space and a chronic shortage of ammo, it's a real challenge to manage your weapon stocks and health as you go about the place. For all that though, there's a nice relaxed pace to Phantom Halls. The sudden bursts of combat are interspersed with quieter periods of gleeful looting. Oh, and you can play as Ash from The Evil Dead, cheekbones, boomsticks and all. And finally, Phantom Halls is a rarity on this list in that it's a game you can play right now. It's currently in early access on Steam.
Finally, we're here!
Oh.
The nightmare must be here somewhere.
Figment is one of the most striking games on this list, with visuals somewhere between Amanita Design's Samarost and Us2's excellent mobile game Monument Valley. While it looks sweet and innocent and innocuous, however, the gameplay actually sees you explore a fictionalized version of someone's mind, helping them overcome various instances of trauma. You play, in fact, as the manifestation of that person's courage. The gameplay is nice and methodical, with the world unfolding before you like a storybook, if a storybook also featured hack and slash combat. The writing is incisive, some of the voice acting is really great, and all in all, Figment boasts sound design you can really chew on. It may not push you to the limits of your abilities, but Figment is a really nice thing to experience. You can get your hands on it this summer.
Oh, I will see you again.
Songbringer is one of the better known games on this list after being generously funded on Kickstarter back in 2015. In case you haven't heard of it, Songbringer is a procedurally generated sci-fi RPG that sees you explore strange new worlds and their attendant dungeons, all in the name of righting a great wrong for which you are responsible. See, after finding a legendary sword called a nano sword, you accidentally awake an ancient evil and it's your job to defeat it. If this all sounds a bit Legend of Zelda so far, well, that's not really a coincidence. Songbringer's developer Wizard Fu is well aware of the similarity and, in fact, is leaning into it pretty heavily. So if the idea of a procedurally generated Zelda-like game set in a sci-fi universe of near infinite worlds tickles your fancy, then Songbringer is definitely one to watch. And finally in this list is another game that's available now in early access, just in case the sense of anticipation was getting a bit much for you. Serial Cleaner is a stealth action game with a twist. You won't be sneaking about the place killing people from the shadows in Serial Cleaner because, well, the killing's already been done. Instead, it's your job to avoid the police and clean up the crime scene even as they're patrolling it. You'll be hiding weapons, mopping up bloodstains, feeding bodies to crocodiles, you name it. With a gorgeous aesthetic and, let's face it, a pretty twisted sense of humour, Serial Cleaner is a lot of fun. Just be careful who you show it to. This game is just ripe for creating the wrong impression. And there you have it, 7 games you didn't know you wanted. Which one tops your list? Do let us know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, there are plenty more for you to watch. Do like and subscribe if you fancy it, but really there's no pressure either way. Thanks for watching and have a lovely day.